if you happen to be a designer, often in search of the right stock photo to use for your product, you may have noticed this little evolution in the stock photo scene. So stock photography has shifted from showing perfect-looking, still, natural landscapes to showing more inviting and authentic scenes of hikers. And stock photos that focused on human relationships have shifted from showing perfect people in a staged composition to showing people beautiful yet more realistic scenes. Now, these style changes are a result of a deliberate shift in marketing approach. So we are not simply presenting the concepts, nature and friendship, but instead we are now luring our audience by offering tangible and beautiful experiences, like hiking outdoors at sunrise or an intimate dinner with friends. And this shift in marketing approach is a symptom of an underlying cultural focus shift, which is driven by the millennials. Now, the millennials generation, which we have been hearing a lot about lately, is growing to take hold of most of the purchasing power. But unlike previous generations, millennials grew up to care less about gaining possessions and status, and more about collecting meaningful and beautiful experiences. Now, this is not a newsflash, so many have written and spoken about this phenomena, and there are many research studies that show different aspects of this. And as a result, digital products are changing to respond to and to express this cultural trend. Now, for me, tracking down the expressions of cultural trends in the design of digital products is very fascinating, and sometimes even a little bit compulsive. So I love learning about cultural trends because I love learning about how people think and what drives them. I find delight in tracing repeating patterns that can be explained by cultural trends, and I'm excited when I can think of clever ways to address these trends in my own work. My work in the photo app niche has given me this interesting perspective on this trend of valuing experiences, and once I started noticing its expression, it seemed to be everywhere. So I became aware of this trend of valuing experiences as I was leading the creative team at Lightricks, designing and branding our two photo editing apps, Facetune and Light. And with the branding of both apps, Facetune and Light, we strategically chose an app name and an icon that would help our apps stand out in the very, very saturated photo app market. And then a couple of years ago, when we were thinking about an idea for a new Photos app, we again brainstormed for unique and interesting app names, names that would help our new app stand out. And two of the names that we really liked for our new app were Moments and Memories. Now, these names, Moments and Memories, they seem to be onto something. They seem to shift the focus from photos as beautiful assets that are kept for their own aesthetic value to photos as references for the moments in which they were taken, or photos as tokens of experiences. And I felt pretty good about this new direction. But unfortunately for us, not long after this, Facebook have announced their own new Photos app, which was also called Moments. That happens. Now, sure, yes, it was a little bit upsetting that this name was now claimed by the big guys at Facebook, but for me this was also an encouraging sign, because you see, this meant that we were tuned into the same notions that the big guys at Facebook were, or in a sense, we were following the same North Star. And Moments was actually following, Moments was actually following this North Star, this focus on experiences beyond the name of the app. So Moments stands out as a photo albums app that was actually entirely crafted around this notion of photos as tokens of experiences. So it actually focuses on one main user scenario, which is getting the photos that you didn't take after events, trips, or any experience that you shared with your friends. You share your photos, and then your friends add their photos. Now, becoming more aware of this focus shift, I noticed that another major player in the photo app market, Google Photos, was also adapting and treating photos as tokens of experiences. So since early versions, the Assistant feature in Google Photos was offering automatic creations that were linking us back to our experiences, like collages and animations of repeating shots. But new feature updates continue to build on this approach of referencing to our experiences. So one feature update from March 2016 allows the Assistant to automatically create smarter albums with curated shots that show us the highlights from our vacations or trips. And another feature update from October 2016 allows the Assistant to help us rediscover old memories by showing us some old forgotten photos of meaningful people that seem to appear a lot in our recent photos. Now, to reinforce this, we can look at Google Photos marketing texts. So marketing texts are a great way to get a clear insight on the focus of a product. And Google Photos 2016 marketing texts say, rediscover your memories, relive and share the moments that matter. My favorite, life has lots of photo-worthy moments. And now with Google Photos, it's easier than ever to share them. So what are we sharing here? We are sharing the moments, right? And the photos are just there to help us do that. Okay, and now when this focus on experiences is easier for us all to spot, we can also see it in the recent update of iOS Photos. So iOS 10 has introduced a new feature in the Photos app, Memories. This feature is built around one main functionality, viewing automatically created slideshows of time and location-related photos. Now again, the name of this feature already emphasizes the meaningful aspect of photos and links us to experiences, but here too, Apple's marketing reinforces this. So when this feature was introduced at the WWDC conference, Memories was said to be about being reminded serendipitously of a memory that would be so special. So again, meaningful reminders of special memories. This feature too shifts the focus from photos as beautiful assets and links them to experiences. Okay, so to me, these repeating expressions in the photo app niche are pretty exciting to notice. But if we zoom out of this specific niche, we can see many stronger examples of responding to this trend. And one very strong, very bold example is this one. So with an approach that combines daring and data-based action, Airbnb conducted a research study that was focused on millennials to support their next strategic product. And according to this survey, millennials clearly prioritized spending money on travel than paying off their debts or buying a home. So, for example, in China, 93% of millennials said that travel was an important part of their identity, and 94% wanted unique travel experiences. So again, if there was any doubt, this survey reinforced this theory that millennials prioritize spending money on experiences than ownership. And Airbnb have actually gone and named millennials Generation Experience. And since according to this survey, millennials crave authentic experiences, Airbnb is now tailoring the product that this generation wants. So their new product, Airbnb Experiences, allows travelers to book experiences that are designed and led by locals, experiences that offer to take these travelers on interesting journeys to unleash their inner DJ, inner sushi chef, inner street artist. Okay, so we've tracked some expressions of this cultural trend from stock photos and feature names to the visions for entire apps and entire services. And I hope that this gave us an impression of why addressing the culture of our users can help us in making our products relevant. But I want to go beyond this statement and quickly suggest how we might do that. So, cultural research can be a valuable part of user research, not just when we want to adapt our existing product to a foreign target audience, but also when we want to deepen our understanding on our primary target audience. So, for example, simply noting that our millennial users are aged 19 to 36, that they feel very comfortable with technology, that they use social media a lot, all of this kind of information would not have led us to make the specific products decisions that we just saw together. And for these decisions, a deeper understanding of the user's culture was in play. And this was an understanding of things like the user's values, their motivations, their spoken language, their thought processes, and their preferences. So how can we pick up these kinds of information? Well, first, we can always learn from Airbnb's example. Actively researching specific aspects of our users' culture is a great way to reinforce our assumptions and to determine the best approach. But often we can't, or we simply don't want to invest in active research. So, while it may not always be enough, we can always benefit by going the passive way and doing some online research. And one of my favorite cultural aspects to research online is language trends. So following trends in spoken language can tell us a lot, not just about how to write better microcopy or how to name features, but also about what is being valued right now and why. So for example, the popularity of the word YOLO, you only live once, could have told us that it's very popular or trendy to use acronyms that sound cool, but it could also tell us about the popularity of this life is short philosophy. And this is a philosophy that usually motivates people to prioritize experiences over ownership. So we can track language by collecting usage patterns from media, or by following bloggers who write on language trends. And then we can combine such online research approaches for various aspects of culture. And of course, we can always search for broad cultural research studies that were done by others and just go ahead and read them. Next, we would want to identify some insights that might be useful to us as we continue to work on our products. So a very simple example could be millennials value experiences more than ownership. Then we might want to emphasize experiences in our products. And of course, we would want to refer back to these insights in various stages of our product cycle to cross our latest prototype versions with these insights and to see how well we address them. So to sum up, I think that addressing our users' culture can help us in making our products more relevant for them. And while valuing experiences is important, it's just one aspect of millennials' culture. Now, culture may sound big and wide and inapproachable, but I think that it's actually made up of many such specific and intertwined aspects that we can study, we can call by name, and we can deliberately and skillfully address in our own products. So I think it's doable, and I think this is a skill worth having. Or in case you are a millennial, you can think of it as a practice worth experiencing. Thank you.